Hello everybody and welcome to DDNet After Dark, the Friday evening stream that we do to play games that well, there's really no rules about it. We generally play things that are a little bit adult or fan servicey, one or the other, but there's no reason we can't play other things that are interesting that come our way. So this week we are playing Raji. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I don't know that much about how to pronounce words in Hindi. I imagine that's based where the words are based from. But yes, this game was announced and dropped on the Nintendo Switch in the Nintendo Direct that they had earlier this week and took everybody by surprise because it looks really good. It looks like this kind of Prince of Persia or God of War, early era God of War kind of title, but with a Hindu spirituality and storytelling built in there. So this could be fascinating. I have very little knowledge, I must admit, about Indian storytelling and religious culture and all that. This is a black spot for me, so I'm very keen to find out more about it. I haven't played the game at all at the moment. This is the first time that I've loaded it up, so I have no idea about anything to do with this game. I don't know if it is as good as it looks in the screenshots, but I do know that people have been talking it up pretty consistently. So hopefully it backs up what it promises. We'll give people a moment or two to jump on, and if they're around, because it is a Friday evening and they may well have better things to do, but if they are around and keen to jump on and watch, then we would certainly like to have them there so we can chat about Raji as we play. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hopefully if somebody else jumps on, they can correct my pronunciation, because I do want to make sure I get it right. But yeah, we'll give people a moment or two to jump on, then we'll get started. Alrighty then, I guess we'll get going with it, because otherwise it's just going to be on this loading screen for far too long, and that won't be much interesting. I'm playing with the sound off so it doesn't get caught on the stream and you don't get echoes and stuff, which is unfortunate because one of the things I imagine this game has going for it is an excellent soundtrack. So hopefully it does sound good. Hopefully the balance between my voice and the music, I want to try and capture it a little bit. Hopefully the balance is there so you can enjoy the soundtrack and whatever as we go along. But yeah, let's get going, shall we? Alright, press any button. So this is just the opening screen. This is what pops up the first time you load the game up.
This is the heart of our story. Golu and Raji, brother and sister.
Okay, so that explains the name of the game. Raji is the girl, the daughter. You do play as her in this game, as you would have seen from the red dress at the opening splash screen. Very nice little cutscene to start. Kind of the
this was their whole world. One
excuse me,
small carnival.
the puppet style cutscene, which is nice and neat. I like that visual effect.
This was home. On that day before their performance, Raji took her brother aside. "Did you forget, little brother?" she asked him. And she tied a rakhi to his hand, for it was the feast of Raksha Bandhan. Although it was a feast day, they still had coins to earn. So Raji walked on tight ropes and tumbled for the crowd.
Okay, so she's a performer. I must say, I really do like this opening. This intro is excellent. Sets a lovely tone immediately. Once again, I imagine the music's really nice too, but I can't hear that, so I'll have to play that back later.
Tales of ancient times when demons walked the lands. A long, long time ago, a demon did penance. For showing such devotion, Brahma blessed him with immortality and a mighty weapon of all. Upon receiving, he united the demons to wage a war.
Very, very pretty. Still going. Quite a lengthy cutscene. I guess there's quite a lot of context to set up, especially... This is one of the things that I love about video games, or have been waiting for video games to really start to embrace, is that ability to tell stories that are a little bit outside of the established, hotspots for game development. Now that game development has become increasingly available for smaller teams and for non-traditional places, such as India, there are the opportunity for Indian developers to come up and start to tell their stories. So this is the kind of game that I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of. We've also seen, perhaps over the last week, we've seen a really, really impressive looking Chinese game in development that looks a bit like Journey to the West. It's based on the classic novel, but with a Dark Souls style RPG thing. So that was another really good looking game. We're seeing China emerge as a development hotspot. There are places in Latin America which are really starting to take off. The Brazilian development scene is really strong. The Chilean development scene, the Argentinian development scene. There's some really impressive Latin American developers coming up as well. So these kinds of games are the kinds of games that I really enjoy seeing. I'm hoping that the gameplay itself is really good, because the setup is excellent. Really pristine, crisp setup.
Raji, awake.
And of course, if you are on the stream, definitely keen to hear your thoughts as we play along, of course. Feel free to drop in and say hello. Don't feel shy by any means. It always helps if I've got some people to talk to as I play. Otherwise, I just kind of natter on without really thinking. So, there we go. So, after that very long cutscene, we are now back at the place where we saw at the start of the splash. The same spot with the 3 women statue holding the giant flame. And it looks like we're looking for our brother who went missing. So here we go. We now have control over what's happening. It's very pretty. Very pretty. I imagine that on the Nintendo Switch in the handheld mode, this would be a little bit of a problem, because you can just imagine how small the character would be in handheld mode. But on the screen, on the big screen as I'm playing, very pretty. This game is built in Unreal, I believe. So Unreal has a bit of a hit and miss application on the Switch, so we'll have to see how it goes once the action starts to pick up, but certainly in terms of the aesthetic, it's good. And look at there's a nice eye for detail too. You can see at the background there seems to be a city on fire, which is pretty neat. And then we have a cave. Okay, now it looks like we've got some speed. We can move. Before we were just walking, now we are running.
Remember Shiva's words.
It is so much weight to put on the shoulders of a mortal. Is this one strong enough?
Time will tell.
Okay, so that's interesting. Looks like the gods are having a conversation and they're the narrators of the piece. I mean, you'd have to assume that the development team behind this game was a small team. There are no huge developers, as far as I'm aware anyway. There are no big development studios in India, so this would be a small team making a passion project, and so far, I must admit, I don't see where the kind of the corners might be cut, because usually with these kinds of games there is some kind of limitation which holds the developer back a little bit, but I'm not seeing that at this stage at all. It's looking very nicely refined, very detailed, very clean, and there we go. Looks like we've got ourselves a weapon, a very big stick, shrunk down to human size now. So that must have been a godly stick before, and now I've been able to pick it up. It was magically shrunk down to the right size for my character. Okay. Ooh, I thought there was that was the end of a cutscene. The cutscene was still going, but I had control back. Okay, so I've got to go this way, and we've hit our first gameplay bits. Now we have the platforming. Oh, there we go. Oh dear. That didn't go very well for me. I think I might have needed to do a double jump there. Maybe I give that another go. Ah, there we go. I made it this time. So that's very Ubisoft, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed style climbing and clambering. I think that was us just praying to a god. Once again, I know very little about Hindu storytelling, about the gods of Hindu religion. It is a very much a black spot for me, so I don't really understand the context behind this game going in. But it's you have to assume that it's very authentic, given where the developers came from. But hopefully I get to learn some as we play along too. Hopefully this is a learning opportunity for me. We can do some climbing here.
Our Raji has no fear of heights.
More Prince of Persia style action. So I don't know if people watching this either on playback or who are actually on, who are tuning in at the moment, know much or have experienced the classic Prince of Persia games. It has been a while now. I'm not talking about the very classic 2D platformers, but Sands of Time, which was the first of those kind of 3D Prince of Persia platformers, which came out on the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. That game I absolutely loved, and I was really upset that Ubisoft really kind of let Prince of Persia go away because Assassin's Creed took over, and that seemed to be their future. But yeah, this game is very strongly reminiscent of that Sands of Time game, which was an amazing video game. Absolutely love that one. Had very similar kind of platforming mechanics and climbing and all that. We'll have to see how the combat goes, if there is combat in this game at all. We'll have to see how that goes yet, but so far the signs are good that this is something authentic to my memories of Prince of Persia. Okay.
There, see? She is learning to think and to use the skills of her time.
So we are definitely having a commentary running in the background from these gods. They're talking about me as I'm doing my thing. They're obviously watching, so it's a good way to do storytelling. Having a narrator in video games is something that I really like when developers explore that, and I wish more did it, but okay. Here we go. So I made it through the tutorial section where we learned to platform. I imagine we'll learn how to fight combat now. Probably up to that point next.
She held the Trishul, and it was a gift of great power. It was blessed by Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and would help her stand against her terrible foe. But it was also a great responsibility. To wield it, she would need strength, courage, and belief.
Right, so there we go. I imagine we do the rescue thing here.
You see my brother? The other part. Go now, before they
So
come.
rescued a bunch of kids. And what we got here?
Poor child.
She will find a way.
Alright, so can't go that way. Have to cycle back. It's got an impressive sense of scale, as you can see. Look at that. It is very much like in the early God of War games, where the camera is fixed. You don't have control over the camera, but they like to pan things back to give you a real sense of scale and majesty to the world, and I quite like that. I was a fan of the more modern, the recent God of War as well, the one that came out a couple of years ago, but I really enjoyed the earlier God of Wars as well for that ability that they had to really show that mythological scale, which for God of War was applied to Greek mythology, of course, but ancient Greek mythology. But this one's taken is a take on Hindu spirituality and gods and stuff. So it takes a very similar approach, just with a different a different religion and culture put over the top of it, which I like. Again, I am keen to learn more, so this might be a starting point for me. I imagine I'll probably want to go up here, won't I?
Here are your paths.
Oh, here we go.
Think of a
Ah, we can practice our fighting here.
feel your heart quicken.
Okay, so
Flow through.
simple. Press the Y button,
Fight, Raji.
and then an X button for a jumping attack. Excellent. So X does the ranged, or not ranged, but whoa. And then B is to dodge. Okay. That's easy enough. Very standard combat system. Oh, I actually have to fight one now. Interesting. Whoa! Oops. Okay, so the combat seems a little bit loose, at least in my very first impressions. But, you know, that's not to say I just don't need... I'm just not used to it. Ah, and then get to do the assassination. The finishing blow. So, yeah, that worked, actually. It wasn't bad by any means. Oh, and then we do have a ranged attack as well.
The most versatile weapon.
It was not bad, that first battle. I imagine that I will be able to improve. Another trial here, no doubt. Oh. So now we practicing more advanced moves. A roll with a strike. That will solve actually the problem that I had with that first enemy, because I wasn't able to hit him. I was dodging, but not able to hit him with the counter attack. So that technique will deal with that. Oh, two of them this time. Excellent. Just what I need. must get that one. Okay, one down. Okay, I think I'm getting a bit more of a hang of this now. So the idea is to actually dodge in, strike, and then dodge away. That's pretty good. I mean, it's an... There seems to be a focus on mobility in combat in this one, which is nice, because God of War was a little bit more about complete aggression, but this one's a little bit more about, I guess, a stylish parry and thrust kind of approach to combat. I like that. I do like that. Oh. Ooh, okay, fine. Alright, so dealt with some shooty enemies there. It looks like I'll be doing a wall run here.
What's this?
Well, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Ah, you got to jump to get there. Okay. Very well. Run across the bouncy bridge. Oh no, that was a mistake. I was trying to slide down and press the jump button. I'm not sure how to do the quick slide. They seem to have forgotten how to tell me the button inputs. They seem to have forgotten to tell me the button inputs. Ah, there we go. A button. Okay. Oh. Ooh, okay, that's pretty neat. So if there's a pole there, you can spin around and do a powerful attack. That's cool. This suggests that there might be some really neat environmental combat down the track. Ah, it stuns them, I see. So it doesn't do much damage, this trick. But it does stun them, giving you a chance to get some free attacks in. Oops. Bingo.
The mandala shows each person their past.
There is always a purpose to such visions.
Okay, so we've got some puzzles to deal with. Sliding block puzzles. Nothing too complex, just enough to be engaging so that you don't have to, well, just enough to be engaging so it puts some kind of variety into the gameplay. But obviously not there to overly challenge. Oh, and then the last one. There we go. Just like that.
It is myself and Kolu.
Alright, whatever that did, I've done it. So, do I go this way or the other way? Maybe there's nothing this way, but let's have a check anyway. It did seem like there was a passageway off the other way, but that looks like something. Ah, okay. Health. Get my health back.
The fruits of a demon.
So yeah, very, very much like... It's closer to God of War than Prince of Persia at this stage. The platforming bits are Prince of Persia-ish, but the combat system is definitely a riff on the classic God of War formula. Oh, and now we get to do war jumps. Excellent. That's going to be fun. So we jump, and then bang. Excellent. That's exciting. So definitely some environmental combat options. I'm in a bit of trouble here. That'll give me some health back, I think. Defeating enemies gives you health back a little bit anyway. There we go. Neat. Very neat. Alright, so this is obviously the way we need to go next. Oh, looks like another combat situation, maybe another tutorial. No, maybe I have to use all of my... yep, another one. Okay, so climb. Ah, right. Climb and bang. So you can pretty much use everything to do those tricks. Actually aiming them is a little bit more difficult. But I do like the range of combat options that you do have. They obviously put a lot of thought into making it not just about button mashing, but also using the environment and having that situational awareness of what is going on. Impressive. Impressed. Very mature game development so far.
A shrine to Kali.
And
Fed by violence. Raji can make use of that if she's...
what do we got here? What are we doing? Upgrade, perhaps? I'm not sure what that actually did, but...
Om Shri Mahakalikayai Namaha.
yeah, it looked like it was some kind of upgrade.
She begins to learn the Trishul's power.
And I wasted it by not actually killing all the enemies. That was a mistake. Oh, I see. As you kill enemies, those things fill up on the little shrine there. As you can see, there's little yellow things that go that way. Once they're full, I would imagine I get a chance to use that ability again. Build it up. Yeah. And then I'll get to use it there. So that'll be useful for dealing with big hordes of enemies, I guess. Oh, and that looks like a boss. It's, well, maybe not a boss, but definitely the most powerful enemy I've had to fight so far. He looks pretty tough. Okay. Cool.
You must admit, she shows promise.
She will need battle skills. That is so true, and they will be sorely tested. But that is not what I meant when I asked if she was strong. Look here, Durga. They have captured your own story. Ah, Mahishasura, the shape-shifter, the buffalo.
Well, that's the lovely art. Buffalo Demon, evil incarnate.
Without him, you would not have come to be. This is the moment when he was granted the boon by Brahma. No man could kill him.
Okay, so I suspect that is the first boss battle that I need to go and deal with. They've given me a preempt. They've told me who it is I'm going to be squaring off against. This Buffalo Demon. And some more story here. Kind of murals tell the story, I guess.
Seized the heavens, unkillable, defeating and driving out all the devas, and even Indra himself.
Mapping the jump and the roll button, the dodge button, to the same button is perhaps the one weakness of this so far. A couple of times already I've rolled or dodged when I meant to jump. Possibly could have used a second button for that.
It was their only chance to create a being capable of destroying.
Because if you think about it, I mean, those are pretty important commands, being able to both dodge and jump. And then to have them mapped
with all their weapons.
to the same thing seems a little bit counterintuitive and just asking for trouble. But I mean, it hasn't cost me a death yet or anything, but it will soon. I imagine I'll make some kind of mistake at some point. Anyway, that's a pretty impressive Buffalo Demon.
Remember it well. You on a lion's back, leading.
If I have to fight that thing, though, that's going to be amazing, because that looks big. That looks much bigger than me, and that would explain why the character is quite small. Like I said at the start, I imagine that if you're playing this in handheld mode on the Switch, the character maybe looks a little bit small, but that would be likely because they wanted to have the massive boss battles. So it looks like I'll be facing off against that, and it'll all make sense as to why my character is small on the screen.
There was no fear on your face, although Mahishasura had shaken the heavens themselves. The battle light in your eyes, determination on your brow. I knew then what the devas had made, and I knew then what change you would bring to our world. Evil comes great.
Now you may have noticed that there's no save points. As you might expect from a God of War like, it's all auto-saved, so that's why. I needed to double tap. That was a longer wall run, so I needed to press it twice. But yeah, there's no save points, it's all auto-saved. So if you turn your switch off, next time you play, you'll pick up from where the nearest auto-save point was. Okay.
She can feel the foulness of this place.
You are surprised?
So here's double jump finally.
Have walked one of the holy trees of
That looks like the boss battle coming up. Oh, he's a big one.
To stop such corruption.
What is corruption?
Kind of intimidated. I'm not very good at I'm not very good at God of War like boss battles. Oops. I think that might have been... I think I've come across a bug. Because that line there is stopping me from coming back into the battlefield. I can't do anything. Oh, unless... I have got the shooting option, haven't I? Yeah. I got knocked out of the circle and I couldn't get back in, so I couldn't fight the enemy. So possibly not intentional on the part of the developers to do that. But so far, that's the only error that I've seen. So I'll forgive them that this once. Oh dear. Okay, so this enemy is actually a bit tough. Like I said, I'm not very good at boss battles, and it's certainly testing my skills. That's okay. I'll keep trying. I'll get the better of him. Ah, I didn't want to go that way. I want to go that way and sock it to him. Where'd he go? Ah. Oh. Well, that's neat. How do you get up there? Get back down here. You gonna come down? Good boy. Okay. Got him! Yeah. Does feel good when you beat one of those kinds of bosses in one of these types of games. Feels good indeed. Alright. Oops. I think I just woke the big thing up. Oh no, puzzle. Yeah, puzzle. Okay. Puzzle time, puzzle time, puzzle time. Okay. Hello, Diddy Ram. Welcome to the stream. We're playing this. Ah, there we go. How you been? Why are you sad, Diddy? There we go. I'm playing puzzle blocks right now. I got one piece in, so I assume that I'm doing it right, but I'm not quite sure. I know, isn't it terrible? Can't do nothing anymore without upsetting peoples. I don't know what I'm doing. I thought I had that, but then it didn't. See, I'm trying to build this thing up, right? I assume that's my job, is to connect it all up. But when I try to, it don't quite work. No, I definitely had that right. Because that's why it's stuck there. So, if I definitely had that right, then I must... There we go. Oops. Bingo. I did it. Yatta. Solve the puzzle. Spooky tree is fixed.
The tree showed Raji a vision of Golu, of dark clouds and a gathering storm, threatening destruction on the world. And behind it all, a being of great power and malice.
The route is open to the fortress of Jaidar. She is indeed strong, Durga.
She is. I hope she is strong.
So you will be happy to know, Didi, that I'll almost certainly be starting Flowers this weekend. I'm nearly finished with Higurashi Volume 3, and then next for things I play for fun will be Flowers. I have it all there loaded up on my Steam, ready to go. I mean, it will be your fault that I'm playing Flowers instead of finishing my own visual novel, so you can apologise to all the Patreon backers for me when they don't get their game quite so early. Only joking, of course. That's on track as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Flowers. That should be good fun. Ah, there we go. The bridge comes. Floats down. Very Indiana Jones right now. Okay. So that must have been the tutorial part of this game. I like it. I do like this. I'm enjoying Raji. I think I find the Asian and Middle Eastern aesthetic and storytelling traditions, I find them much more interesting than, for example, Greek mythology, which was God of War. So for me, this kind of God of War style gameplay really fits with Raji in a way that I find quite appealing. So I'm very interested, very invested in this already.
But she is growing into her power. I think
Don't get too many stories that kind of deal with this setting either, so it's all very exotic in a good way, and interesting. Look at that. Look at the kind of the artistic vision, the aesthetic vision, to have that kind of castle environment that you know you're going to make your way over to. Because that's the other thing, the kind of the God of War formula that was so popular back on the PlayStation 2 and into the PlayStation 3, that's really fallen away. Not many developers try that anymore. Even God of War itself shifted to a very different type of gameplay. But this one is traditional. It's almost nostalgic, which is weird because I don't feel like I should be getting nostalgic about the PlayStation 2. It doesn't feel like a retro console at this stage, but it's certainly on that way there, and this game is a nice throwback to that kind of gameplay style. Oh! Jumped to my death there. There we go. Second time's the charm. Luckily, if you do miss a jump or whatever and fall to your death, it's not too far to play back. One of the good reasons that they've got rid of the save points is that you don't have to worry about backtracking or making your way back through. There we go. Oh! Fell away underneath my feet. Here we go. But yeah, I don't get where the Prince of Persia comparisons come in, because there were a lot of people making Prince of Persia comparisons to this game back when it was just landed. People were downloading and playing it for the first time, and they were saying this is like Prince of Persia. It's nothing like Prince of Persia. It is definitely God of War through and through. So sorry to say that. I was just starting to say that as you said that. Yeah, it doesn't. Maybe my memory of Prince of Persia Sands of Time on the PS2 is a bit different, but I don't remember the game being like that. I remember it had a slow motion kind of combat system base, so it had that finishing move thing which was slow motion based, but the rest of the game for me was just, it reminded me of kind of a free running style platformer, and I haven't got too much of that from this yet. The bits that are platformy do feel Prince of Persia-ish, I guess, but yeah. The setting definitely, yeah, of course, because the setting, Persia, India, it's not, the aesthetic, the approach to aesthetics is not that different between those traditions, so I can see that. Definitely it feels kind of Near East aesthetically, which is cool, which is what I like, which was what attracted me to this game in the first place. Because when Nintendo had that Direct and just dumped a half dozen games on the Switch eShop at once, this was the one that stood out to me most immediately, and it was because of the aesthetic. Yes, Prince of Persia is like Raji. Did you all see the news that apparently Ubisoft is making a new Prince of Persia game? How that will turn out will be interesting. I would imagine it'll be some kind of terrible open world thing, because that's what Ubisoft does these days, but there is the outside chance that it'll be a new game in the mold of Sands of Time, which would be cool. Or just a HD remake of Sands of Time. Just give us that game back. That was the game. That was Ubisoft at its best. It's never been the same since. Okay, so, oh, an actual person.
Wake!
Wake, wake.
Do you sleep?
I would love for the PS2 game to come to the Switch. In fact, the whole trilogy would be good. Because I do remember the first sequel to Prince of Persia. It went grimdark. It went very dark. But it was still a very enjoyable game. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called. But the follow-up to Sands of Time was pretty neat. And then I'd never actually played the third one. But I would like a package of those three. Kind of HD remastered or whatever. It would be really neat. I would enjoy that a great deal. Because we are talking about games that we don't see that much. We just don't see much of Prince of Persia or the original God of War anymore. These games are... This approach to game development disappeared very quickly. Was it? Yeah, I never played it. I don't know. I think I got busy at the time, so I just didn't have the time to play it. I was interested in it because I was a big fan of the first two, but yeah, I never got a chance to give it a go. But looks like there's a lot of dead people there. So this castle must have been attacked by something. The one thing that seems to be lacking is the ability to upgrade weapons and stuff. And I'm not usually a person that cares about upgrade systems and whatever, but for the whole God of War formula, it feels odd that there's not some kind of tangible reward from each battle that allows you to improve the stats of your weapons and whatever. It's an odd one. But speaking of this genre, anybody remember Dante's Inferno? Not a great application of Dante, but I didn't mind Dante's Inferno, you know. I actually... There was a lot about that game I enjoyed. A Trip Through Hell is an interesting topic, and Dante's Inferno did a pretty good job of it without going stupid like, say, Agony and whatever. Hello, Liam. Welcome to the stream. How is Takeshi and Hiroshi? Because that's the puppet RPG thing, right? I was really keen on that one. It looked great. Oh, wow. So it's like a puppet RPG that can be beaten in 2 hours. That's really got my interest. Because, yeah, RPGs are usually major commitments. So when I saw that it was like an RPG, like it was being listed as an RPG, I was immediately like, do I have time for this? Should I give it a go? But, yeah, if it's nice and short and brief, then you just sold me on that. I'll grab that for sure. It's only like $10 as well. Oh, look at this. Look at this gorgeous art. This game, I don't know how many people actually made it. I do assume that it was a small team that worked on it, but the aesthetic, the art direction of this thing is just pristine. Ring in the bell. Summon the monsters.
Ma Durga? What is this?
Oh! Just minutes after I was complaining about the lack of an upgrade system, here is an upgrade system. Well done, Matt. So yes, there are upgrades. There you go. Exactly what I was expecting and was lacking, but here we go. It always works that way. You say something and then it just... Now, what do I do? To navigate, to assign... I can't read that. It's so small, the text. Ah, there we go. I think I'm done. Whatever I'm done, I think I've done it. How do I get out of here? Oh, there we go. Alright, so whatever I did, I just did. And now I imagine I'll have to fight an enemy to test out my new ability. Here we go. Nothing if not predictable, these kinds of games. One down. Oops. So, what's everybody playing this weekend? What's on your agendas? Anything interesting to play beyond what you've already been playing?
I wonder sometimes that perhaps you may have fallen in love with the human race. Civilizations rise, and then they fall.
I will not see the demons win, nor the twisted mystic who leads them. What he did to Bhumi Devi was a terrible thing. Who knows what Mahabalasura plans now?
I hope that they do not break your heart.
I will say that as somebody who is not familiar with anything to do with the context of this game, that I'm a little bit... I'm struggling to keep up. Obviously, I'm also doing the streaming at the same time, so I'm not exactly focused on the narrative, but I am struggling to follow what's going on entirely. I'll have to play this back through later. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm very sorry I can't pronounce your name. Jack? Persona 5 Royal will do that to you though. If you can get through the game, then congratulations, you've achieved something just by getting to the end of that one. It's that is definitely a lengthy game. Oninaki, that is a good game too. That is a very nice game. I've ummed and ahed about doing one of the Tokyo RPG Factory games on this stream because they are fairly nice, briefish JRPGs. Oninaki is probably the best of them, I reckon. It's the most refined, that's for sure. Okay. But anyway, let's get on with the journey. Can I go that way? Nope. Just some dead soldiers over there. Right. Enemy time. New enemy. Haven't fought that one before. It's fast. It's like a mouse. Go away. The variety in the enemies is actually pretty neat. And the design of them is good. I like the enemies that I'm fighting in this game. These things are annoying. But deliberately so. Skewered. Skewer both of them. Get my health back. Right, that problem was solved. Can't go on a rampage destroying all the stuff. Oh, right or left? It seemed clear to me that the game wants to make that decision an important one. That's why it made it quite clear that either way seemed to be a way forwards. Good. Good job, mate. Nothing there. So maybe going right was the wrong way to go. Should have gone left. Rightio. Climb up. So the game stops the handheld. the game stops the handholding pretty quickly, and you do need to. Whoa! Nearly fell off the edge there. You do need to understand how to get around the levels pretty quickly, because yeah, not telling me how to do anything anymore. Tutorial is done. Oh. Okay, so I've got a new item. Electric bolt sounds pretty good to me. Bang. Okay. There we go. Got the hang of that good and fast. Alright, so now that I've done that, I should be able to progress, I guess. There was a door back here, wasn't there? I think. Is the door now open is the question. Nope. Alright, so maybe I don't need to go here. I wonder where I need to go. Oh, maybe I need to go right now after all. Yeah, that's what I'm going to guess. Turn to the right. Or not. Oh! Well, lucky I missed that the first time, because otherwise I would have missed the power-up thing. But that seems to be the way forwards. Yeah, female protagonist, Middle East. No, it wouldn't be forced diversity, since it was it was an Indian development team that made it. So, you know, we're not talking about Ghost of Tsushima here. This is genuine. This is the real deal. This is cultural product. This is art house. Go away, speedy dude. Tough speedy dude, this one. Dead. I like how the ring, once the ring pops up on the level, actually leaves the little kind of mark there. It's like a burn ring. That kind of eye for detail is always a good sign. Slide down the banner. Not forced diversity, just highly political. Ooh. Oh no, something's moving.
I can't get down there. Golu! Golu!
Oh, right. That's the brother. So for anybody who wasn't on the stream right at the start, she's got a little brother. Little brother went missing. He must have been in that cart, because a whole bunch of kids got kidnapped for some reason. And then she's taken it on herself to go and rescue them all. It would seem that her little brother was in that cart that just got driven off. So that's the mission that we're on. That's what we're doing. That's why we're doing what we're doing here. It's a reverse damsel in distress thing. That is an infuriating combination. You got the tough dudes with the little speedy Gonzales. There we go. Got the big one. Skewered. The combat system is growing on me very quickly. At first I thought it was a little bit clumsy. The first couple of battles I fought, I thought that I was a little bit out of control. It seemed a little bit clunky, to be honest. But now I'm quite comfortable with it. It feels good. This game in general actually does feel very, very good. I know a trick for these enemies. Watch this. I can do the pole dance. I shouldn't say that, but that's what it looks like. Now, there was a game on the PS3 which I really loved called Lollipop Chainsaw, and she played you played as a cheerleader in that game, and she had a scene where she did the pole dance with a chainsaw to kill a whole horde of enemies. It was good fun. Not that it has anything to do with this game, but okay, let's kill the big demon. Bang. Oh, got him in one go.
I will do the same to any who tries
No, Lollipop Chainsaw was actually Goichi Suda, not Swery. Yeah, Suda. It was a great game. I've met Suda 5 or 6 times now. Basically every TGS. Unfortunately, I won't get to meet him this year, but every TGS I've met him, and then I also met him when I was doing my book to interview him, and every single time I just keep asking him, where's our HD remake of Lollipop Chainsaw? And he's very cagey about it, so I don't say it would be impossible, but maybe not right now. It'd be good to see a HD remake of Lollipop Chainsaw. I do keep flying the flag for that game. Interestingly about that game, actually, while we're on the digression, Lollipop Chainsaw was actually written by James Gunn, and James Gunn being the guy that then went to Hollywood, made it big, writing and directing the Guardians of the Galaxy films. So yeah, James Gunn, before he was the big-time Hollywood director, did Lollipop Chainsaw, wrote it. It's the Lollipop Chainsaw. Yeah, I know, I keep bringing it up. I can't help myself. If I could stream it, I would. But unfortunately, I can't stream PS3. Actually, I could. If my PS3 still worked, I could potentially stream it. Maybe I should. I'll give it a go. Let's see if I can do some Lollipop Chainsaw streams. You'll love that. Won't you, Diddy? Oh, no. Oh, phew. Right. Moving on. This game moves at a great pace. I don't know how long it is, obviously, because this is the first time I played it. I'd never played it. I'd never even loaded it up before this stream. But we're an hour and 10 minutes in, and I do feel like I'm making good progress through the game. I'm really enjoying this, actually. Really, really enjoying it. Look at that. The good use of the camera angles. They're obviously masters. They've played God of War and the early God of War games, and they've really understood everything about those games that people loved. The cinematics, the combat system, the use of the use of real world kind of mythologies and stuff. It's all great. This is right up there, I reckon, with the just from the first hour and 10 minutes. It might change, it might get really bad in the second half of the game, but so far it's probably up there with the best indie games I've played this year. At least in terms of indie games that aren't narrative driven. It's not a visual novel, obviously, but I am enjoying this. What do I do? What do I do? Ah. Oh dear! I needed to run. That was an action event. Whoops. This bit's Prince of Persia. There we go. I was wondering when the Prince of Persia elements would come in. In fact, I'm pretty sure I remember Prince of Persia Sands of Time having those kinds of events where stuff would be falling and you'd have to run fast. So that was pristine Prince of Persia stuff. And down we go. Chill out at the pool.
This is a marvel. It is surely a weapon of the
Oh, I've got a new weapon. It's a bow.
those who watch over me, sending me such good fortune.
I can be Legolas now.
I am surprised, Lord Vishnu. Your bow is
That is an awesome bow.
The scales must be balanced, must they not? The girl earned her prize.
Oh yeah. That's my kind of weapon. So for people who don't... I mean, I always play the archer in just about every game where I can. I have a thing about archer character types. So this is my stuff. Now we're hitting my stride. Let's Legolas up this. Bang, bang, bang. So this must be a fairly reasonably lengthed game for, oh. This must be a fairly reasonably lengthed action game because we are 1.5 hours into it and we're just getting a new weapon now, so. Oh yeah, this is good fun. This is great. What am I doing here? I don't know what I'm meant to be doing here. Oh, hang on. Maybe actually stand here. Ah, there we go. I see. I can shoot faraway targets this way. Arrow rain. Haha, that's cool. Oh dear. Go away. Okay, one more to deal with. It's the big boss. Oops. peppering him full of arrows. He's a tough fella. Got him. Bang. Alright, so, on that note, that seems like a pretty good place to stop. I imagine we've probably had an autosave there, so that's a good thing. Thank you for tuning in and watching me play Raji. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a game that I was really looking forward to when I saw it on the Nintendo Direct, and I wasn't sure how I'd find the time for it because I'm not kidding. I've got about 7 other games that are all under embargo that I can't talk about right now, but I've got to review them over the next week. But this Friday night stream gave me the excuse to play it a little bit, so at least I know I'm enjoying it enough that I want to come back to it. So thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. I hope you have an excellent weekend with plenty of good games to play and stuff. And yeah, as always, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. The next stream will be Tuesday night, where we do a retro thing, and yeah, let's see what we play there. So have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks again for joining in. We'll see you next time. And I will enjoy flowers. I promise you, dearly, I'm starting that this weekend.